Starting my software sales career 4 years ago, right out of college as an SDR, has helped me earn the right to have this view you see behind me on the 14th floor, downtown Dallas, Texas, in the absolute best location in the city. If you are looking to get in software sales or you currently work in software sales, you know that sales development, business development representative is the entry-level position. It took me 2 full years as an SDR in order to promote to the next level, account executive. I'm currently a senior account executive. I closed nearly $1 million in revenue last year, my first year of closing business. I'm actively working to get to the next level, which is really the pinnacle of a software sales career as an individual contributor, an enterprise account executive. In today's video, I'm gonna share with you the lessons and learnings across the 2 years of firsthand experience as an SDR that you can hopefully apply in your own career to promote and find more success sooner rather than later. Number one is taking massive action. Most days I don't set meetings for my cold calling. Most days I face a lot of resistance before my early morning workouts. Most days I still experience self-doubt before posting online and sharing my thoughts on YouTube, LinkedIn, and TikTok. My job is to not let my mind take over. I win when I take action in the face of fear. As an SDR, you will be cold calling a lot. You will face a lot of, you're basically paid to be told no. And when I first started, people always said, are you a telemarketer? Are you soliciting me? Blah, 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 all these things. You get down on yourself very easily, and it can discourage you from actually taking action. When I first started cold calling, everyone said I sounded like a used car salesman. I didn't know what I was saying, and my mind would take over and I would start wasting time. I would do prep work. I would research the company. I would look at the prospects, LinkedIn. I would do all these things to avoid making the call until I realized that making the call is the only thing that will get me closer to my goals, and anything I'm doing that's not action is actually a waste of time. So as an SDR, taking massive action looks like making your 80 cold calls per day. It looks like finding your 20 new prospects per day. It looks like sending your 10 to 15 net new prospecting emails per day. And it becomes a process, and it becomes very analytical of if you make your calls, if you send your emails, if you do your new prospecting, you do that 5 days a week, you have 2 calling blocks basically. You have the morning, you have the afternoon. You have 10 total calling blocks across a normal work week. And if you miss one of those blocks, you actually are 10% less on your total output capacity. So you need to take massive action by always showing up, always making your calls, always sending your emails, always doing your prospecting efforts. The next lesson I learned is to avoid the comparison game. Early on as my career as an SDR, I wasted so much time looking at the dashboards. We had these public Salesforce dashboards where you can see everyone on the team's calls, efforts, activities in the day, and I would always look at other people's numbers, and in the short term it would make me feel better because I would have the airspace to make the excuses and say, oh, they got lucky, their account executive slipped in that. Oh, they just had a big day by chance, they have better accounts than me. But in the long term, it actually diminishes your capacity. So I learned over time that the only competition that really matters is with yourself and being better than yesterday. That's all that matters. So when you're taking your massive action, doing your prospecting, in your free time, also focus on what are those areas of opportunity that you can continue to sharpen the saw. Can you go speak with other account executives who have been in your position and have done that? When I get reached out to by new reps or folks that are looking to start, or even people that are tenured looking to take that next position, I always advise them, hey, go identify somebody that is doing what you want to be doing, somebody that you respect, that's been there, done that. Go set up time with them and say, look, I just want to learn from you. I want to hear how you think about this, your process, your talk tracks, your scripts. They say imitation is the highest form of flattery. And in sales, you don't need to flatter anyone. You just need to imitate what's working, repeat it over time, and it's that process that will unlock the levels of success that you want to reach. The next lesson I learned is that the best way to get better at something is by actually doing it. If you want to get stronger, would you do option A, reading a book on push-ups, Or would you do option B, actually doing the push-ups? This is one of the biggest problems I have with sales enablement and all this training. It's they force people to learn all these things when the best way to learn is by actually doing the activity. The reason I'm good at cold calling today and can sit here and say confidently, hey, I've made 50,000 cold calls and what I've done clearly works because I've generated tens of millions of dollars in pipeline. The only way I was able to get to this point was by putting on my headset and dialing and actually making the cold calls, facing the rejections, setting the meetings, hearing all of the objections in the book and overcoming them and figuring out, okay, how can I put myself in the best position to take the action, to learn what I need to do, to not focus on the wrong things like comparing myself and focus on myself and being better than I was yesterday. Next, I want to talk about money. One of the reasons why I was drawn to the software sales career in the first place was because I knew that if I started out making $50,000 a year, I could quickly accelerate my income over time based on my performance. And that's what I love about it. The harder I work, the luckier I get, the better I perform, the more money I put in my pocket. Right out of college, I lived in a really nice apartment with 2 roommates. I was making $50,000 on target earnings per year. So I was putting probably 30, 35K in my pocket. And basically like 60, 70% of that went to my rent. So I had no leftover money, but I felt like I always had enough. And now that I'm making 4X what I was making at that point at age 26, I live in a $2,700 a month apartment. So of course I've inflated my lifestyle, which is not good for personal finance. But the only thing that's changed is I'm able to save more money. And the reason money matters to me, making more money, continuing to promote, is I think growth. We're all wired to want to grow. We started out as babies, very small, and we've grown into the people we've become today. We want to grow intellectually. We want to grow in our career paths. It's all about growth. That's why we invest in companies that we hope will grow. And that's how you actually recognize greater returns over time. So I want to grow my career. I want to grow my income, my earnings. But just so you know, when you start making more money, you just start having more money that you can save. And it's fun to watch your money grow over time because you have these assets you can start investing and then they start to produce babies. They start to make you more money. And that's when the game really starts to get fun because you start to think about, okay, if I could just go do that and had this amount of money, if I had that much coming in, how would I be able to spend my time? What would I be able to provide for other people? But ultimately, I'm no happier than I was when I first started. I just have more money to save and I care less about money. If I go out and spend $100 on dinner, I spent $175 last Saturday on dinner. It was a little excessive. I Venmo'd the guy and I didn't even think twice about it. I just didn't care. It no longer matters anything less than $500 or so. It's just spend the money, go, go, go. It doesn't really matter. It's all about how can I make my quality of life better and how can I also continue to save money. And the last thought I'll leave you with is that your life is long, your career is long. You have a long time to execute. I'm 26. I feel that when I reach, a lot of guys say, I need to get to $1 million by 30. I need to get this promotion by this time. I need to get married by 33. Whatever it may be, there's these arbitrary timeline milestones. I'm here to tell you that if you get to 30, you have 40 full years of execution until 70. I'm somebody that's wired that I like to work. I find meaning in my work. I want to contribute. So I'm not trying to go retire at 45 and just go sit on the beach. I want to continue to work. I want to be productive. I want to contribute. So I see myself working until at least 70. So that's 40 full years from 30, which I'm still 4 years away from, until 70. And the 40 years is basically 1.5x more time than I've even been alive. So there's so much time to make money. There's so much time to grow. There's so much time to make those connections. And it's so easy to think earlier in your SDR career, man, I'm gonna be in this position forever. I'm gonna leave companies because the grass is greener. I just wanna get to account executive. My career is over because I missed the promotion cycle. It took me 2 full years as an SDR to become an account executive. And I've actually greatly accelerated my career because I took the time to get good and master the skill. So I would encourage you to focus on how can you get really good and really perform well in the role you're at today. And I promise you, all the opportunities, all of the money, all the trajectory, all the acknowledgement, all the recognition, all the status, all the prestige you could ever want is awaiting for you. As long as you're willing to put in the work, not compare yourself to others, and keep getting better. That's all that really matters at the end of the day. And that's why I like to show up and make these videos for you guys If you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button now, subscribe to the channel for more sales videos. First link in the description below, link to Sales Prestige Podcast. New episode live yesterday with the head of business development at a startup. He started his career at ZoomInfo. Great interview. Go listen to it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Go comment some cherries over there in Sales Prestige. Let me know you're listening. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.